Hello and welcome to another episode of The Average EV. It is almost 4 a.m. It is June 22nd and it is time for an epic road trip. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, before we get into the video, I want to talk about our sponsor, Recurrent. Recurrent is an awesome and free service that tracks your battery health and charging to tell you how well your battery is doing in comparison to others with the same vehicle as you, and also what range you could expect in different seasons. Now, this is an absolutely free service that you can sign up to on their website. There is no app or anything like that. You just log in and sign up on their website. You put in your automaker login information. It is completely private. It only pulls charging and battery. It does not pull any location or anything like that. They start to collect data, and then eventually you'll get a recurrent score, which tells you how your car is doing, and it also shows your car in comparison to others. It is a really cool service and kind of demystifies a lot of the things about EV ownership. So there are a few ways that you can use Recurrent. First off, you can use it for yourself. It'll collect data for a little bit, and then you can see what your range would be in expected seasons, and that would be based off of your zip code, which is awesome because it always allows me to have a good understanding of how much range I might lose in the winter or kind of what my range will look like in the summer. Additionally, if you go to sell your car, you can use both your Recurrent score and all of your other Recurrent data to show dealers how well you've taken care of your car and why they should give you a bunch of money on your trade-in. Next, when you go to buy used EVs, you can actually look up their Recurrent score, see how the battery's been taken care of, and then decide whether or not you want that car. And if you do want the car, maybe you could talk them down because it has a little bit of a lower Recurrent score. So if you are shopping for used cars, you can go to a website like cars.com, and on there is the actual Recurrent score for those used EVs, which will give you a picture of how that car's been taken care of. Additionally, you can actually pull up the Recurrent report, which will give you further insights into that vehicle, and then you can decide whether you want to purchase that vehicle or not. Again, I find Recurrent extremely helpful, and it is completely free. So go ahead and sign up on their website. That's all I have about Recurrent. Let's get into the video. Okay, so like I said, it's bright and early. The Equinox is all packed. I'll show you all what's going on there in a second, but we are heading on a epic road trip. We are going from here in Maryland, Central Maryland, all the way to Anaheim, California for a road trip to see Disneyland. We're super excited. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to answer the question for everyone. Can you road trip the Equinox? I think I can. I'm pretty handy when it comes to EVs. I've done it with the ID4 pretty efficiently, and I think that I can maximize the Equinox here on our trip. So let's flip the camera around and see what we got going on. All right, everybody, here is the Equinox. It is all loaded up. We're finishing up our charging to 100%. If we're not there already, yeah. So just doing some top balancing there. You can see here's my passenger is all the food and my backpack, and we got water and coffee, and we got coffee, and we got gimbal so I can do some EV charging state review videos. And then this is where my co-pilots will be, my son and my wife. And then we got the rear, which is chock full. Whoop. There we go. Lighting's a little bad right now, but yep, completely full. Got a bag here, suitcase, cooler with all our food. We're using a cooler to save money, so all our lunches are gonna be out of the cooler, and breakfasts as well, and then some other stuff. So we're completely full. And then underneath, we've got some sleeping bags for camping. And then, actually this is an air mattress. And then I know you can't see it right now, but behind this Marshall's bag is actually a SUV tent. So we're gonna try camping at one site in Utah, Richfield, Utah, which would be super cool. And then let me just give you a nice wide angle and explain my rationale here. No roof box. I have a roof box. We could have put it on, but I was just trying to be as efficient as possible for this trip with the Equinox because of the charging. Anything you can do to help it out to use less energy is helpful. So that's why I wanted to not use the roof box. There was a point in time yesterday where I considered using the roof box, but I did not. And we're gonna see how this goes once we eat all that food, it's gonna give us a little bit more room. So I guess we have to eat to make room. So let's go ahead, step inside and go over the trip details and everything like that. All right. So as you can see, we're still charging here. Oh, blurry, blurry, blurry. There we go. I'll turn the fan speed down because it's so loud. Get that GM power. All right. So there we are, 100%. It says 319 miles. I'm gonna go ahead and put our trip in. Our first leg is taking us to Troy, Illinois, which is just outside of St. Louis. It's loading the route right now. It was acting perfectly fine earlier. I don't know what's going on with the internet right now, but you can see it's routing and it's giving us our route. Now I have my own thoughts about the route, but I will follow this ish. But you can see here we have these hour and 20 minute, hour and 13 minute charge. We're not going to do that. So instead on this side, so this is on the western side of Columbus. We're actually going to charge on the eastern side of Columbus at the Iona site, and then we'll probably charge somewhere in this area and just charge fast, and then pull and go, and then I'll unveil the rest of the stops as we go along. And then our first stop is going to be here, just southeast of Pittsburgh. So we're going to come up here. We're going to take the Pennsylvania Turnpike. We have Bedford as a backup option if necessary. But we'll charge here, and then we'll go to, I believe it's Triadelphia right there, which is a pretty decent charging location as well. And then we'll see. We're not going to be married to Tesla superchargers, but I am going to hit them often. And then if we do go to an Electrify America site, I am going to activate Pass Plus because it's $7, and pretty much in one charge you make your money back. So I'll do that, and then if we have to use it again, I would, I guess, be more apt to use Electrify America. And actually later in our trip, there's a couple Electrify Americas I'm going to go to because of location. All right, and then just to talk a little bit about the structure of this video, my thought is I'll do each day in a video. So this will be day 1, traveling to Illinois, and then we'll do day 2, traveling to Oklahoma, day 3, traveling to Arizona, and then day 4, arriving in Anaheim, and then we'll do the same thing on the way back. So we should have 4 videos on the way there, 5 videos on the way back. I'm gonna try and keep them as short as possible. I know people don't like the 3-hour-long videos, that's why I'm gonna break them up into separate days. But I wanna share your journeys and, our journeys with you is what I was trying to say. But the most important thing to me is I wanna show that you can road trip this video. And, I'm really struggling, it's early, can't you tell? I'm gonna leave that in. That you can road trip this vehicle is what I was trying to say. It's just you got to know how to do it, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I've already done the boomerang challenge in this, which proved that this can be a fine road tripper if you do it right. And my game plan for the majority of the trip is to stick to charging no higher than 60%, and then if I have to make it somewhere, then we're going to have to charge up higher than that. I am slightly worried about heat, both with the car overheating and the Tesla supercharger handles overheating. So that's why I might audible and move to Electrify America at times if I notice that an Electrify America site is available. The problem with a lot of these sites going out are they're 4 stalls, some of them are 6 stalls, the rare 8 stall. And maybe one of them's down, might not be available for me to use. That's why I prefer the Tesla supercharger. I'm gonna hit Ion up when I can. I'm gonna hit up Mercedes-Benz high power charging when I can. I'm gonna hit up, actually we probably won't hit any BP Pulses. I do like BP Pulse. We might check out the new BP Pulse at LAX in Los Angeles, but those will be separate videos. So anyways, that's all I have. It's gonna be an awesome road trip. I'm gonna get my co-pilots loaded up in the back here. I'll probably flip the car around for them as well. Reset the trips, and then we're gonna get this thing going. So I hope you all stick around. I'll be sure to make sure I do all the calculations of how much it costs me to do and all the miles we traveled and how much time, and it's going to be an awesome trip. So let's go ahead, get everybody in, and let's get on the road. And everybody, I do want to say, right now it's quoting 15 hours and 59 minutes, arriving at 7 p.m. Central. When I get everybody in the car, I will record the official, and then I just want to see if we can beat that time, if we can beat 15 hours and 59 minutes. I think we will with my charging strategy, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. All right, everybody, there's a little daylight now, so I figured I could do an update. Things are going well. Stats so far, we've gone 117.2 miles, 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour efficiency. Mind you, we're going through the hills, going at, highway speed, so that's gonna give you some interesting efficiency numbers. And we've been driving for almost 2 hours. We have an hour and 9 minutes or so to go, 79 miles left, and it says we're gonna arrive at a 16% state of charge. So to recap the trip so far, when we were leaving home, going through some back roads, we must have seen at least 20 to 30 deer. It was wild. Some of you may recall when a deer ran out in front of my car and totaled my Hyundai Kona electric. So I'm still a little jittery around when I see deer because of that. But anyway, so there's that. We finally got on to 70. And then I was noticing something weird with Super Cruise. I don't know if you all have seen this, if you have Super Cruise before, but if it was 3 lanes and then, because sometimes on 70, there'll be 3 lanes. One will be for trucks or slower moving vehicles, and then that lane will go away. But I was in the middle lane, and what would happen is every time that 3rd lane would end, Super Cruise would turn off, because I guess for some reason it thought I was in the 3rd lane, but I was in the middle lane. So that was just weird. Not the end of the world, but just interesting behavior. I wanted to note that. And then once we got into Pennsylvania, there were these birds on the road, and they wouldn't get out of the way. And I had to slow down so I didn't hit birds, because I don't need that on my conscience. But anyways, there's your update for now. We're on the road for another hour, and then we'll be at our first stop, which I believe is a Tesla supercharger, which is just southeast of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of Aaron Rodgers, their new starting quarterback. All right, here we go. Get a little B-roll. Yeah. What's the evidence? All right, everybody, our first leg, 196.8 miles, 2.6 mile per kilowatt hour efficiency, 3 hours on the nose of driving. We're gonna go ahead, get out here at this Tesla supercharger, charge up a little bit, and then get on our way. It's saying we need to charge to 73%. We'll see about that. All right, everybody, we're inside the car, pulling full speeds, 146. That's excellent. So let's see. Next stop is Electrify America in Cambridge, Ohio. So I say we don't do that, and instead we go to that Tesla supercharger in Philadelphia. The only reason I say that is because we'll have to charge here way longer than I would desire to do. Right there. That one. Philadelphia. Let's make sure it's the right one. Yep, that's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. So there we are. So it says start. If we leave right now, remove stop. There we go. -6. There we go. So having some trouble navigating but that is only 62 miles. So maybe we should actually go a little bit further. Let me turn the camera off and figure this out. All right, everybody, so I decided to go to, there's a Pilot Flying J right off the highway. It's 52 cents a kilowatt hour, a little bit more than I normally want to pay, but we're not going to stay there for too long, and it's right off the highway, whereas the Walmart with the Electrify America is a little bit further off the highway. So that's what we'll do. We'll stay up here till it's maybe like 15, 20%. I'm gonna see if there's a Starbucks around here, get some coffee, and then we'll be on our way. All right, everybody. We're at 54% state of charge. Have not hit the GM dip, but we're gonna ride with 10% state of charge, so we can go ahead and head out. Well, now 12%. We're gonna stop at a Starbucks on the way, and we're heading to Morrisville, Pennsylvania to a Pilot Flying J location. All right, let's stop charge, and actually it just started to dip a little bit, so that's good timing. Go here, unplug, the handle back. Always make sure you close your port. Get back in the car, and off we go. Okay, we stopped, grabbed some coffee from Starbucks, cold brew. And now we're gonna keep on our way to the Pilot Flying J. All right, everybody, 89 miles, 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour, about an hour and a half of driving. Arrived with 18% state of charge, and we have 45 miles left. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, plug in, and then also do an EV charging site review. Got a nice Wiley Heber Schooner. Gonna one hand this. Sorry. There we go. And we got plug and charge, so it should activate automatically. All right, let me walk around here. It's a tight fit. There we go. Cable safety. There we go, matching voltage. Wow, that takes so much longer than a Tesla supercharger. All right, ramping up. And again, that was Auto Charge Plus. So I think I said plug and charge, but that was Auto Charge Plus. Kind of different in how they're implemented. Here we got the power ramping up. Looking good to me, so gonna go ahead, do the EV charging tip review, and then we'll get back. Okay, so our next stop is gonna be the Iona Rechargery in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 100 miles. We're at 57% state of charge, 81 kilowatts. We're starting to dip. We could probably go, I'll wait for this to tick up to like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, something like that, and then we'll head out. All right, everybody, so this is a great charging stop. Lots to do, lots of alternate options if you want. And I'm gonna go ahead, get a little bit of trash out of our car, and then we're gonna head out. All right, everybody, we got the GM dip big time, 58 kilowatts. We're gonna go ahead and stop charge. There you go. And I really would recommend, when you have Equinox or any of the other Altium cars and you're doing like a road trip scenario, I would charge it till it starts to dip and then go. If you need to get more to make a long stretch, then obviously you have to wait, but it gets such a slow speed, it is not worth waiting. So here we are. 22, 52, 44 kilowatt hours, $23. Okay, not horrible. All right, everybody, that was a successful charging stop. Honestly, a really nice Flying J or Pilot, I forget what it was. One or the other. Really clean inside. Had a Subway, had a DIY Dunkin' Donuts, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, so now we're on the road. Next stop, Reynoldsburg, to the cool stop. Last time I was there, I couldn't really get into the lounge, but now I'll be able to get into the lounge. So that'll be cool, and we can chill out, check it out, and enjoy our charging session with some pretty low Iona fees. All right, we have made it to Iona in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, 98.8 miles, 2.5 mile per kilowatt hour. A lot of uphill, hour 21 minutes. Arrived with 20% state of charge. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in, and then I'll kind of update you on some of my thoughts. All right, love Iona, got trash cans, windshield wiper, or washer fluid, I mean. And then I'm gonna plug in here the beautiful, I love the color scheme they chose, but these Alpitronic HYC 400s. And what's nice is GM has plug and charge, so all I have to do is take this really light Amphenol cable, plug it in here, boom shakalaka, and it'll start charging. And to remind everybody of 42 cents kilowatt hour, authenticating. You don't have to press accept, so it'll automatically accept for you. I mistakenly said that one time, and someone let me know I was wrong. Thank you, I appreciate it. I'll show you that it goes through. How about that? So you can, in fact, plug in, walk away, and charge. And then they have gotten rid of the QR on the main door for, I think, some security reasons. And a QR code is going to show up on here, and I can scan that so I can get in. There we go. And there is the QR code. All right, so we're ramping up. We're getting there, slow and steady. Actually, let's go to this map. Ramping up. 500 amps, 300 volts, 150 kilowatts. All right, let's go back. I'm gonna go ahead and scan the app, and we're gonna go check out the lounge. I haven't been in the lounge. All right, everybody, here we are in the lounge. Some nice chairs and couches, some advertisement from Lindsay Acura. That's actually smart. Look at you, Lindsay Acura being smart. It looks like they're still finishing some stuff. Need to hang it up. I don't know if they repainted maybe. A nice little working area here. Trash can. Some chairs that spin around. Look at that. Reynoldsburg, Ohio, the birthplace of the tomato. Is that true? That can't be true. Like, Italy, they were making stuff with tomatoes. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I wonder if it's like a special kind of tomato. And then there's another little area here as well. So lots of seating options to kind of meet your needs here. Oh, I didn't even show you this. There is, or there are some snack machines. Got some drink options. Ayana, if you're listening, I'd like some Liquid Death. Love Liquid Death. And then here we got some snacks. Looks like some interesting options. All right, everybody, so we're gonna head to, let me see if I can show you, Richmond. I think this is Illinois. I think it's Richmond, Illinois, or it might barely be Ohio, one or the other. But anyways, we're heading there to a Tesla supercharger at a Meijer. Meijers are like really nice grocery stores. So definitely like stopping there when we can. Right now, we're at 53% state of charge, -4 on arrival. So we'll build that up to 10 or so, and then we'll head out. All right, so here's the charging handle. It's like barely warm. It's crazy how nice these Amphenol oil-cooled cables are, keeping it nice and cool. Really nice. Let's go ahead, check out this a little bit. We did finally start to derate. We're at 73 kilowatts. We're dipping, as I like to say. There we are at $15. We've been here 17 minutes. We can leave soon too, so we don't need to stay here too much longer. But there it is, and you can see this is the normal charge curve, and then it slowly comes down. That was probably around 38%, and then it dips down, and then whoop, we're at 78 kilowatts. So it's going to keep going down and down and down. But it's all right. We don't need to stay here too much longer. Here, I want to give everybody a nice look. This is such a photogenic charging station. It looks so nice. Get that? It's a nice thumbnail. But anyways, yeah, it's a really great experience. Now we're actually we're getting lunch out of the cooler, so we'll stay here until we need to leave. No rush. It's a good price, 42 cents per kilowatt hour, so no rush here. And oh, look at that! Right next to it, the Moo Express car wash, free vacuum. Nice. So if you need to get a car wash, there's a Goodwill over here. I actually have an EV charging state review about this site. It scored really well. So you can check that out on my other channel, EV Charging State Review. I'll link that review actually in the description of this video. Got a Waffle House over here, and then a Sheetsy's, Arby's, Michael's if you need to go get some craft supplies, I guess. I can't tell what that is, but lots of options around here. Really nice charge spot. We are getting close to unplugging here. Let's look at the charging detail. You can see we're starting to come up out of the dip a little bit, which is good. We've added 46%. It's taking 26 minutes. That's mainly because the dip happened, so it is what it is. Only 20 bucks. Here's the cost detail. 45 kilowatt hours, 42 cents per kilowatt hour. Looking good. I'm gonna hop in the car, wait till it says 10%, and then we'll get on our way. Everyone, I'm sure you've already commented, but I did look, and it's Richmond, Indiana. I think I even said Illinois, so I don't know why I said Illinois, but Indiana. But there it is. We're getting close to unplugging. It says 7% on arrival. So we'll wait for that to hit 10. All right, hit 10%. Let's get out of here and unplug. Go ahead and click active session. 6A. Stop. See, we actually, before I do, we climbed out of the dip a little bit. Let's go ahead and click stop. Select. And then I'm gonna put up on the screen, everybody, the receipt for this session. It comes through in the My Chevrolet app. So there we go, all finished up. 96 kilowatt hour average, which really isn't that terrible when you think about it. $21, so nice. Exit that, grab this, pull that bad boy out. Love how light these are. Put that back on. So 19 to 71%, took 31 minutes. Not the best, not the worst. All right, let's get on our way. All right, everybody, here's the trip data. I'm talking quietly because my son is asleep. 115.7 miles, 2.5 mile per kilowatt hour efficiency, hour and 42 minutes of driving. We arrived with way more state of charge than estimated, 20%. Let's go ahead and get plugged in. We're gonna try and make it to Terre, I always forget, Terre Haute. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. We need 6% more to be at 0. So I think we might just risk it. And there's bailouts in Indianapolis and stuff like that. We're at 62% state of charge, 73 kilowatts. We're starting to get the dip. We are having quite the queue start to build up, so I don't want to stay here longer than we have to. So my wife and son just went to the bathroom, so as soon as they're back, I'm just gonna plug and we're gonna leave and we'll see what happens. But we got a Cybertruck and we got a couple Model 3s waiting, so and there's a Ford F-150 Lightning charging, but they are blocking a stall. I am not blocking a stall, which is good news. But yeah, so as soon as my wife gets back, we're gonna head out. I do want to mention something really quick, actually, since I have the time. I noticed, I was paying attention to my battery temperature. Nothing was happening as far as the temperature cooling down. Once it got to like 38 degrees, it's very hot outside, 92 degrees. So then I turned on manual battery preconditioning and it started to go down. It took a little bit, but it started to go down. So actually what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to immediately turn on battery preconditioning and I'm just going to see what kind of magic happens. Because if I could, really shorten the charging time, then that would be great. So yeah, so we'll see what happens there, do that little experiment. If I can actually prove something, then I might make a dedicated video about that. So again, just waiting for my wife and son to get back and then we're gonna head out. It says -5. We have bailout options, not too worried about that, but I think we can make it. 141 miles, says we have 201 at rated range. I can drive the speed limit. We do have a headwind that has been an issue that I've been dealing with, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, we are at 1%, so we are definitely good to go. I'm just waiting for my wife and son, and then we're leaving. I actually see them in the rearview mirror now. There they are. Oh, actually, I guess my hand's blocking. Oh well, it would have been a good video. We have dropped down to 40 kilowatts. Oh, yikes, big dip, but we're heading out, so no big deal. All right, now we're at -1%. Are we gonna make it? I don't know. We're gonna make it. I'm not too worried about it. Right now, the cooling's at 6 kilowatts, so once that chills out, we're gonna be all right. All right, everybody, so here is the situation. We have passed through Indianapolis, which was the last stop where we could get charging. Now we're in what's a charging desert. It's only a 60-mile stretch, but here we are. So we have to make it now. If you remember, we left, I believe it said -2%. It was 0, and then it switched to -2%. Now it says we're going to arrive with 7%, which is fine, arguably too much. And right now we're at 31% state of charge. The real issue is we're going to a 4-stall Electrify America charger, where 2 are showing in the app as 50 kilowatts. Now that might not be true, but that's what the app is showing. And I've been kind of tracking there to see like how it's going. So we could show up to a full charger and have to wait. We could show up there and be stuck on a 50 kilowatt charger. I don't know what's gonna happen. But you know, Electrify America is the only option. We could have stopped early in Indianapolis, charged up and tried to skip this Electrify America, but you know, I was giving EA a chance. So let's see what happens. This is gonna be exciting, one way or the other. So in about 40 minutes, I'll catch up with you all in Terre Haute. I really forgot how to say it. And hopefully we'll be charging. Okay, everyone, 140 miles, 2.9 mile per kilowatt hour efficiency, 2 hours and 10 minutes. We arrived with 13%, so we were way too conservative. It's all right. We could have, remember, we left with -2 and we arrived with 13. Let me rephrase that. When we left, it said we would arrive with -2, but we arrived with -13. So that just shows how conservative this trip planner is. Here is the full trip, 640.8 miles, 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Let's go ahead and plug in. All right, everybody, here's the plan. We're getting 37 kilowatts. Wonderful, probably cable cooling issue. You know, unfortunately, there's nothing Electrify America do to fix that. ... Anyways, there is a Pilot Flying J that is 21 miles away. If we leave now, we'll get there 2%. I'm gonna go use the bathroom and then we're gonna leave. That is the plan. All right, we hit some luck. The 2 cars on these 2 chargers left. So I plugged in. This one allegedly is fully working. It's a 350. These are old Signet. These are like 1st gen Signet units. Let's see if it works. We're at 20%, already getting more. That's awesome. 73, 81, 83, come on, 150. That's what we're looking for. Oh, do you all see my new shirt? Amps and volts and kilowatts and kilowatt hours. There we go, that's the sauce. Okay, we can stay here. All right, there we are, 142 kilowatts. So I'm undoing the new plan and we are gonna charge here. And then I'm not sure what we should do. I think we should still stop one more time, but we don't need to charge for too long because then we'll be going to our hotel. So the car is saying charge to at least 76%. We know we can probably get away with 66%. So let's see what's going on here. All right, it says we'll arrive with -30%. So we need to at least add 30% if we want to make it. After that will be a bonus. So let's go ahead and do that. It would be nice to have a little bit of a buffer, but I'm just glad we're getting reasonable charging speeds now. It's really unfortunate that that unit's having a cable clean issue, which they could fix. It could just be a new cable. It could just be a filter that needs to be cleaned, but they have to come do it. They have to come fix it. So, all right. All right, well, as soon as I said that, now we're derating a little bit, but that could be on our end, unfortunately, and I'm used to that. I did just check, and the car is not too hot, so it is a station issue, but you know, I'm getting 112. That is better than nothing. All right, we're wrapping up the charge here. This was an example of I got here kind of at the wrong time, but the right time. The only one I could use didn't work, but I was able to switch over here, get a charge. So no big deal there. Not the end of the world. Lovely Blazer. Actually, I like this Equinox RS, looking good. Not sure what model year, if I'm being honest, but looking good. So we're about to unplug and then we're gonna head out. We have made it to Vandalia, or however you say it, I forget. 104.9 miles, 2.3 mile per kilowatt hour efficiency. That was a rough one, hour and a half. Arrive at 9% state of charge, 21 miles projected, 100 degrees outside. Look at that, holy cow. So it's been hot, it's been windy. going with the flow of traffic, so it's what we got, 2.3. I'm gonna go ahead, plug in, and we're gonna charge up, and we just want enough so when we get to the hotel, we have 40%-ish, and then we can go into St. Louis, get some dinner, and then see the Gateway Arch. Yep. And then go back to the hotel and go to sleep. All right, plugged in and charging. Such a better handshake than Electrify America. I almost called it American Idiot. Oh my gosh, Electrify America. Using the A to Z adapter here, which is very chilly because of where it was stored. And we're charging up on 1D. We're here at a Phillips 66 Burger King, something else. There's an Arby's right here. So actually it's a, decent amenities. Here we got, oh, this is nice. I'm actually gonna clean with this. So got a trash can and windshield washer fluid. So yeah, nice little stop here. All right, we're at 36% state charge and we're dipping big time, 51 kilowatts, super hot outside. The adapter's probably overheating, so we have to stay here until we can get at least 30 or 40% state of charge. So it kind of is what it is. I'll look up the restaurants my wife found in St. Louis and decide where we want to eat for dinner, and that's kind of where we're at right now. All right, everybody, so we charged up to about 53%. We're gonna go ahead and unplug here. Everything's so much harder when you're trying to film at the same time. All right, anyway, so that's done. That was disappointing, very slow. The battery was just too hot. Oh well. So let's go ahead and get in the car and then head on to our hotel. All right, everybody, 49.5, 2.2 mile per kilowatt hour efficiency, 43 minutes. Total trip to hotel, 795.4 miles. Whoa, 2.5 mile per kilowatt hour. Holy cow, arrived with 28% state of charge. We're gonna charge on the CPE 250, get a little juice, and then head into St. Louis to get some din-din. All right, everybody, we're here at the hotel. We got a Holiday Inn Express, really nice. They actually have a CPE 250, 35 cents kilowatt hour, not too bad. And then they have a level 2 here, 6.6. So what we'll probably do, we're just charging up because we're here to have some juice to get into St. Louis, and then we'll probably come and plug into this, and then I'll see if they have any sort of whatever fee for overage or whatever. Oh, there we go. Price. It says $2 an hour. Oof. Okay. Well, that's not the best, but whatever. So yeah, so nice. It's nice to have these accommodations. Honestly, I run the numbers. It might be better for me to just to do this. All right, everybody. Well, that is the end of the first leg in this video. Lots of exciting things. Hope you all enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below. Honestly, this went better than I expected. The heat at the end got us with the battery. I also didn't do the preconditioning manually, which I should have, and the car didn't do it automatically, which it should have, and that really cost us probably 20 minutes, I would say. So, whatever, not the end of the world. We survived, still made it here pretty much as we planned, way sooner than Google initially said. I think Google initially said 18 some hours. We're here in 16, so yeah, I can't complain. Well, anyways, thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, please remember to give a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will catch you all next time.